What up, fans? It is the Gopher Broke podcast. We are breaking into our last position group because we're not diving into specialists. Look, all love, and I know the Gophers got like 4 punters and 2 kickers, but we're talking safeties, and this will wrap that up for us here today. We're also talking Northwestern, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. What up, Gopher fans? It is the Gopher Broke podcast. It's your boy Kane, Rob, and Tristyn Spann-Ford coming at you once a week, every week, talking some Golden Gophers football. The season is almost here. We are in the month. I mean, we are literally 15 days away from football time. How you feeling, Tristyn Spann-Ford?
Music to my ears. Like I always say, we're ripping calendar days off right now. It's the best. I can't wait. The anticipation is crazy. I've marked off weeks in my calendar, in me and my wife's like family calendar, where she's not allowed to schedule us anything because some of these weeks of college football, I'm like, we cannot leave the house. This is a stay in the house weekend. I've got November 1st circled. I think I have one more weekend in November that looks good. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
He's ready. He's ready, folks. He's in full swing football mode. I love to hear it. And guess what? This is going to be a good show. I already feel it. I mean, we don't really plan out too much as far as it goes, like with a show script or anything. We just kind of go with the flow. But what I will tell you is that I have an apology to make today to a Gopher fan. We're going to get, or not Gopher fan, to a Gopher player. We got an apology to a Gopher player we're going to be throwing out there. We're talking safeties. That means we're talking Koi Wonder, and it's going to be a good one. So be sure to hit subscribe over on YouTube. Follow wherever you get your podcasts at the Gopher Broke Podcast, and you will find us wherever you get podcasts. So if you don't find us there, let us know, and we'll make sure that it gets there ASAP because the season is almost here, and that means it's time to get for real with this Gophers football talk. Now, before we dive into the safeties room and talking top 10 safeties in the Big Ten and talking Northwestern, I got to know, what's the gripe, my man? What is the gripe of the week?
Things are going well, right? I'm off the next 2 days. Okay. We got a wedding. My kids currently, the big thing in our house is these rubber band, like making bracelets, rubber band bracelets, rubber band necklaces. They're tiny little rubber bands. They're colorful. They're fun. I mean, 2 little boys, didn't expect that's what we were going to be into, but hey, let's let it rip. And they keep them so calm. The downfall in this activity is that there are rubber bands all over my house. They are everywhere. Everywhere I look, there are rubber bands. And this would be fine, but we have a 1-year-old walking around. So we have we're just like...
So everything's going in the mouth.
Oh, yeah.
It's
every single day. It's just, boys, why are there rubber bands here? Boys, what are we doing here? Boys. So... yeah, like it's nice that they will sit down for a good 2 hours and just rip through some rubber band bracelets, sit there and watch a movie. It's awesome, super calm, because if we're not doing rubber bands, we're just wrestling all the time. So it's awesome. But yeah, that's where we're at. We have a lot of rubber bands up to our ears in rubber bands.
I can appreciate a calm to the chaos, though, because I've got a 1.5-year-old boy, and today he flipped over the laundry basket and then stood on top of it and then held crackers in both hands and was dancing on top of the laundry basket and like was a half a step away from breaking his neck. I'm sitting there like, whoa, hold on. Like, oh, yeah, like.
So that's the energy we love. We love that energy.
Yes, we love the energy, but a calm to the chaos every once in a while, I will take all day, every day of the week. So definitely can respect them rubber bands right now. All right, but talking about football, I want to give a quick shout out. A few Gophers looking good in the preseason, especially some of the newer ones. You get to see your QB Max Brosmer. He doesn't come into the fourth quarter, but then puts on a show. And I don't want to hear any, it's the fourth quarter. It was against third string guys, blah, blah. Well, guess what? He was playing with third string guys too. And like, it's not like we're saying make him QB1, but the dude was out there putting on anticipation throws. He was lighting it up. He was putting the ball where it needed to. He was rocking in it when he needed to. Like, Good love. Shout outs to Max Brosmer.
Guess who's playing the hardest they possibly can in a preseason football game?
The
That's the
second and
third
third
string.
string guy.
That's the fourth
Right.
string. Those guys
They're
are
trying to
trying to
make it
make a squad. Like
right. Trying to get a job here.
those were D1 football players. Those are still 1% of football players. He was balling. We don't need to put any
Right.
asterisks on it.
No, I feel that 1,000%. That's a great point. I mean, those are the guys who are the hungriest. You're talking about the dudes
Exactly.
who are life or death. This is going to make or break right now. I'm doing everything possible. So,
Those are the
no, that's a
ones.
great point. On top of that, Ariante Ursary looked really good in that
Yup.
same game. Looks like he's going to be the starting right tackle for the Houston Texans. Cody Lindenberg was second in the team, I think, in tackles for the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, them Gophers boys,
Hey,
man, I'm
Danny,
telling you.
Danny Strigow. Danny Strigow.
Danny Strigow, yes,
Success.
sir. He had the forced fumble, didn't he, in there
Yup.
too? Yes, sir.
Dog.
Okay, okay.
Dog.
Look, y'all might write off these Gophers. Y'all might always be like, oh, they're low draft picks. They produce. They get the job done. Hard hat mentality. Grab them by the bootstraps and pull them up. That's what the
Yep.
Gophers are about. And they're showing it on Sundays. I love to see it. I'm here for it.
I agree. Prayers up for Justin Wally. That sucks. I don't know if we
Yes.
talked about it
Yeah,
last week.
we didn't.
Brutal,
We
brutal,
didn't.
brutal. But hey, we bounce back. He'll be back next year.
Yeah. For those who are like, what happened to Wally?
Oh,
He
my
tore his
bad.
ACL. It was looking like he was going to be the starter for the Colts at the nickel cornerback position. Tears his ACL in the preseason. Extremely unfortunate, but he's going to bounce back.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
going to grind it out. He's going to be better than ever. So, yeah, thoughts with him as well. But let's talk about one thing before we move to the safety room. I want to talk about what's your biggest worry with this year's Gopher team? What is like one position or one element or one thing that worries you the most when it comes to this year's 2025 Golden Gophers football team?
I think if I'm gonna go off the top of my head, it's got to be the offensive line room.
Hmm.
It's just so much of any football game is predicated on the offensive line. Like we have Darius Taylor in the backfield, not a problem unless the offensive line is a problem. Drake Lindsey could be a dude, but if the offensive line is not solid, then that's going to hurt that as well. So much of the offense is predicated on the offensive line, and that's obvious. That's just football knowledge. So it has to be what kind of consistency the offensive line can bring throughout the season. If we can stay healthy, don't have to, move guys around too much, that's going to be so massive for us.
Yeah, I actually tend to agree with you a lot on that one. That was going to be my pick as well. We talked last week. Nathan Roy wasn't practicing. It looked like he had maybe had a minor injury. He did come back for this week's practice, so you love to see that. Looked like he was working in at the left tackle with the ones again. I was talking to my guy Daniel House, and he was like, "Man, I wouldn't be surprised if we moved Nathan Roy to right tackle, had Khalid Tafai as the left tackle, and just had some big dudes on the outsides. I wouldn't be opposed." That would mean Dylan Ray would get kicked to the bench, which who knows if that happens, or they've run him at the right tackle a ton in these practice. So I'd be a little shocked if they moved him all of a sudden. But we've seen stranger things. We've seen things happen like this before. We've seen them use Quinn Carroll at right tackle all of the off season, all fall camp, and then he comes in at guard in the first game one. And so we'll see what happens. Hopefully, yeah, the offensive line can gel, because I am a little bit worried. I feel like I have a lot of faith in guys like Greg Johnson and Ashton Beers, but then beyond that, what do we got?
Yeah.
Can we create a push? Can we make runs easier? Can we create the holes so our best player in Darius Taylor can create and cook? Can we give Drake Lindsey some time, especially as a young quarterback? So yeah, it's a big worry of mine. If I can't copy you there, though, I would say, how long does it take for this Gophers team to gel? That's going to be probably my biggest worry heading into this, because I think we have a lot of opportunity on the schedule. We've talked about Buffalo and Northwestern State. They should be dubs, but Buffalo is not a team you want to overlook, and we mentioned that when we broke them down. But hopefully you can walk away with 2 wins right there to kick off the season. But again, if the offensive line isn't gelling, if the receivers are dropping balls or it's just not timing up well, if the quarterback has jitters, anything like that, and then you turn to Cal, who should be a win with all the transfers they've experienced and the key losses, if that isn't a win, you get a little nervous. If
Yeah,
Rutgers, which you're hoping you can start out 4-0 and kick off the Big Ten preseason off of a bye week, or a Big Ten season, I should say, not preseason, kick it off of a bye week with a win at home versus Rutgers, like again, a game you think should be a win, but you can't completely write as one. Again, if you somehow drop those two and then you're heading to Ohio State 2-2,
things could get
the
hairy.
whole season narrative changes. Everything becomes a little bit worrisome because then you can't write off Nebraska. You can't write off Iowa, which those are going to be tough games in the first place. Oregon, all of a sudden, if you lose those two plus Oregon plus Ohio State, that's 6 losses right there. And now you're like, damn, do we make a
We gotta
bowl?
get
So I
forward.
need the team to gel quickly so that way you can kick it off with a 4-0 and have some leeway as the schedule gets tougher.
Yeah, I think it's easy to be concerned with the offensive line because it's probably the position group. It's got the most starting transfers in it. So we really
Mm.
just don't know. So I think that's also just the not knowing is what makes it easy to just be worried. But yeah, you are correct. If they don't figure it out with the schedule that we have the perfect ramp up going into Big Ten play.
Mm.
And if we don't capitalize on that, it could be a long season.
Absolutely. And one thing I'll say with that starters being transfers too is that look, PJ got a good hit rate when it comes to these transfer portal players. I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to crown him quite yet, but there's been quite a few starters, all conference players. I'm thinking Jack Gibbons. I'm thinking Benjamin St. Juste. I'm thinking even Quinn Carroll coming in from there. He'd been a multi-year starter. Kyler Baugh. I know we could keep going. Chuck Filiaga was a starter for a while. Like, you can keep going and keep
Oh
going and
yeah.
keep going over these last few years. There's been some misses. I mean, Sean Taylor didn't end up working out for us, or Sean Tyler. I said his name wrong, so clearly we didn't end up working out for us. But Marcus Major was a baller. He was balling out.
Yep.
C.A. Bengura didn't work out for. So I can't say it's 100. He's not batting 100, but he's doing well. And so hopefully, if one or two of those transfer O linemen can hit, and then we got to swap in somebody else, I would take that. I would take that at the end of the day.
No, I 100% agree. I'm all we need is a few to hit. So
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this safety room. This, I think, is the biggest strength of the Gophers
oh yeah.
by far. This room is what gives me confidence that even though we're having a defensive coordinator change, since it's someone internal that knows these dudes, and this was the room he was coaching, the best room in the whole group, yeah, we're going to be all right, I think. This safety room is big time. How are you feeling with the starters in this room?
I feel great. I mean, just looking at the of who we have starting and looking at the list of names, it's not that old of a room. It's a young room
Mm-hmm.
too, but it feels like it doesn't feel that way because everyone on here has been on the team for 2 years, but they've played a lot. Like they've gotten a lot of tick. So I'm actually really excited. I tend to agree with you. I was kind of going into it. I was like, I don't know. I guess I didn't have any certain type of feeling going into the safety talk. I was like, okay, we're gonna talk Coy, and then as I'm going down the list, I'm like, okay, we have some guys. Like we have some dogs
Right,
out here. We were talking real no fly zone type stuff in this
right.
secondary for the Gophers.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. And I think they're going to get creative with these safeties. I think, like, I legitimately think you have 3 starters. It's
Yep.
not your typical 2 starters like Coy and Carey. I think Aiden Gooseby is right there with the
Yes.
starters as well. And the thing is that the fun part about it and the dangerous part about the safety room is that all 3 of those dudes can play every single position. They can play the free, they can play the strong, they can play the nickel, they can come on a blitz, they can, like, all of them are so versatile that you can mix things up and make it hard to game plan for these dudes, not knowing what type of package, who's going to get what looks and everything. So I think the Gophers can get dangerous with that. Coy Parrish, look, man, that kid is special. Look, I knew he had a good season last year. I knew he did really well. And then I was like, okay, let me get into the actual numbers of this thing. He graded as an 88.9 on PFF last year. That's literally like elite of elite. You crack 90, you're literally talking like best 3 people of the position. He was in the top 7 of his position among all FBS safeties last year. And the people that were ahead of him, 3 of them are now in the NFL. 2 of them are seniors returning for lower competition schools. And then there's 1 kid from Bama. Like, Coy is right there. He is in there. And then on top of that, a lot of people see Caleb Downs over at Ohio State as the number 1 safety in the country. He graded better than Caleb Downs last year. Many see Coy as a top 3 safety in the country. So overall, he's a difference maker, and now they're going to get him involved on offense and even more in the special teams. So I think you look at what he did, and he only really started 3 games for the Gophers last year. He played 400 snaps for the Gophers. That means there is so much room for him to grow and produce more. And this is a guy that was an all Big Ten first team player as a true freshman with 46 tackles, 5 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and 2 pass breakups in a part time role. Bro, bring on 2025. Like,
Yo, he's
what?
a dog. He is a dog. Like, and it. I'm so I was when we were talking when I was going over it, I was kind of like, okay, we know how good he is. Like, what, trying to be a journalist. I tried for 1 second to be a journalist. And I'm like, what can we knock anyone on? Like, where are we worried about? We're just not worried because the way he handles himself and the way he carries himself, the confidence he has is just the right amount of confidence. Like, it's not like listening to him, you would never expect that. Like, he's not arrogant about it, but he's confident. He knows what he can do. He loves the game of football, and he just wants to play football. He is a football player. Like, it's awesome.
Right. Through and through, football player through and through. Like people were like, "Oh, he goes to the All American Bowl in high school, and oh, he didn't look great in the practices. He didn't look that great." Gets to the game time where you play real football, bowl game MVP. Then you get to the freshman season, he doesn't get the spring. People are like, "Oh, I don't know if he'll be able to contribute. He didn't get here until fall camp." Watch me. Watch me. And as the season went on, we're talking by USC, which was like game 5 on the season. He's making game winning interceptions. And then he does it again later. He's making diving plays. He's making big returns. He had a 60-yard return against Michigan. Look, get ready because Coy is coming and I am here for it. But he's not the only one in the safety
No.
room. Like you said, it's so bright that all 3 of these starters, you're talking about Coy, you're talking about Carey, and you're talking about Aiden Gooseby. All 3 of them have at least 2 years left, which means we could get this season and next season, have so much consistency. Carey Brown, 3rd highest graded player in the entire Gopher defense last year. Also 3rd on the team in total tackles with 63 tackles, 4 PBUs, 2 INTs. 2nd on the team in defensive stops, which he had 28. And people are like, "Whoa, what are defensive stops?" PFF calls it tackles that constitute a failure for the offense. So he was shutting shit down, is what he was doing.
For
Like,
real.
the only player that had more than him on the Gophers last year was Cody Lindenberg, and guess what? He's playing on Sundays. So, I mean, I am so excited for Carey Brown. I think, again, he's a guy who can play the free, play the strong, play the nickel, play the Sam. He's going to be moved all over the field, and that makes his team dangerous.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with everything you said. I had those two, and then like we talked about Gooseby, I had Gooseby circled on here too. I think he's gonna be my breakout guy. My prediction for a breakout year. Like, I think he is gonna be a stud. He's a year older. Like, he's been in this room longer than everyone else. I think he's gonna step up and show out. Sorry, I kind of switched over to players here, but
No, you're
yeah.
good. You made the perfect transition because this is the player that I owe an apology. This
Oh
is the guy.
no!
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I owe you an apology because last year at this time, I'm breaking down the rooms. I didn't say anything bad. I didn't trash him. I didn't do nothing bad or in that right. I just said I was concerned. I didn't know if he would be able to step up and answer the call. I didn't know how much growth he could have in the room. And I thought, he might just get relegated to a rotational role. And his pops came on and he came on in the comments and was like keep sleeping, like keep that same, stay over there, keep that same attitude. And I was like, whoa, I didn't think I did anything bad here. But you know what? I apologize because you showed me. You showed me, look, there's nowhere to go but up. And he is growing. He is continuing to rise. And I think the fun thing about Gooseby is that he plays with a swagger and a confidence about him. Like you could see it last year, especially he had got some confidence to him on the field. He was like, no, I am that dude. I'm a starter. I know why I'm a starter. I think it's going to elevate even more this year. Like you said, I think the confidence that he plays with, the vocal leadership that he's going to start to show, I think he is going to ball out. So again, I apologize.
No.
Happily, you
Hey,
were right. and I'm here for it.
I did the same thing. Remember the North Carolina game 2 years ago?
Yep.
North Carolina
Yep.
game. I
That
did the
was the
same
game
thing
that
to him.
had me worried.
Yes, see, I did the same thing to him. But last year he played at a different level. It was way because that was 2 years ago. He played at a way different level. And like the thing about I've hung out with him a couple times. He's been over the house for the boy's birthday party, but he is right here all the time, like just steady as can be, like level-headed guy, like super nice dude. He's just chilling. Like, and then he gets on the football field and it's a different level. It's a different animal.
Hmm.
Like, I'm
Hmm.
super excited. I think this is going to be a monster year for him.
Yeah, I'm with you. 23 tackles, one pass breakup, one interception last year, but he was always in the right spot. It felt
Yeah,
like he made the stops that it could have been an explosive play, and he got it at the last second, so that way it's shut down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so the stats don't do him enough justice, but I think after this season they're going to. I think he's going to have a big year, like you said. So those three dudes are the starters. They're going to be used all over the field. You're going to see them, all three of them on the field at the same time at times. There were times in practice I was seeing them rotate Gooseby out to the outside corner, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see them in the outside looks sometimes. Like those three dudes are gonna get snaps this year.
this secondary is so. The more we're talking about this secondary, might be so dangerous. I'm so excited for it. Like going from corner, we should have done corners and safeties earlier. This was good. This
Yeah.
would have been good excitement earlier.
No, we got to hype it up for the end
There
here
we go. Yeah,
before we
you're
do
right.
these
You're right.
predictions and everything. But the thing is, it doesn't stop there. They have some depth in the rotation too. You got Darius Green. He's back. He had injuries last year, so he didn't get to play a lot. But aside from those three main starters, I think he's going to be the guy that gets a lot of the nickel reps. If one of those three isn't rotating in there, I think Darius is going to be in there and getting some play. He had times where he started last year before the injuries, but he was on and off last year. But he started the year before a lot too. So he has playtime experience. He knows what it's like to play in the Big Ten. I think he struggled with pass coverage a little bit when he was a starter, but he was phenomenal in the run stopping game. And so I could see the Gophers also playing him a lot heavier in the games where we're going to play run heavy teams. When you're playing Rutgers, when you're playing a Cal, when you're playing an Iowa, where all of a sudden we're like, okay, Darius, the snaps is coming up
Yep.
this week because we need you to shut it down. So Darius Green being your fourth safety and the guy to step up if anybody goes down, like you got to feel real comfortable knowing that that's the 4 deep right there.
This room is so deep, and this is his last year, right? Is he he's a senior this year, right?
I believe this is his last year of eligibility.
Yeah, that's insane. This is a deep room. I'm very excited.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And then like beyond that, I think guys that can be in the rotation, Garrison Monroe,
Minnesota
the
guy.
Gophers really, yep, Minnesota guy. The Gophers really like him. Like they've been putting him in the position to really learn and grow a lot over these last 2 years. And I think that because the room is super stacked, it hasn't given him a ton of opportunity, but he will probably still find some snaps on the field at some capacity this year. It's just it's tough to see how much opportunity he's going to get there, barring an injury or something like that. But that said, I think if that were to happen, the Gophers would have a ton of trust in him. So him being your fourth, fifth safety, and you still are like, yeah, we can put him on the field and run exactly how we want to run. Like this safety room is nice. Giants and McMillan's the only other guy that I had in the rotation. But he was hurt the last time I saw him at practice. I didn't go to practice on Tuesday this week. I had a child's doctor's appointment, so that wasn't happening.
Can
But
you please can you please put your kid on the back burners for this podcast?
oh, you're right. You're right. Less dad, more mad on the
Exactly.
football.
It's football season. Does your kid know it's football season? Does he even know?
He does. I actually have a video of him recently going football. So
Then you get a
yes,
pass. Then you get a pass. That's
he's locked in. One of the first words that he's running around the house saying is football. So we're good on that one.
love it.
But Giante, I don't know how serious his injury was, if it's going to take some time to get back, but he could be a guy who could rotate in, especially at the nickel position. And then the last two safeties in the room, I see as depth guys for this year. That's Zahir Rayner and Harrison Brunn. I don't know too much about Brunn, to be completely honest with you, but Rayner is a guy I'll be interested to see if they can if he can maybe try to claim that Darius Green role after he leaves, or fill maybe a Sam role as a linebacker, but he's only 5'9", listed at 190, so I don't know if he's big enough to fill that linebacker Sam type role. Maybe he could get some corner looks, but I know that he's got some skill to him. Like I was intrigued by him as a prospect coming out, and last year he redshirt. But I don't know where his opportunity is, and hopefully it presents itself and he grabs it. But that's the one thing I don't know with Zahir Rayner.
He's got to be the fastest guy in the room if you would ask me. Hopefully, I mean, you got to think,
Yeah, yeah.
fast as heck. I don't know.
I mean, I know he laid the boom in high school though, so like
Yeah,
I won't, and like maybe those are still the freshman numbers up there. Maybe they didn't really update the website; they were just like put the new picture on, put it out. So who knows? Maybe the strength program got him right. But overall, that safety room is nice. Tristyn already said his breakout for this year is Aiden Gooseby. I think that you can call any of them three starters my breakout because they gonna kill it this year.
yeah. It
Like
was really
I'm all about
yeah. This is a room where there's not really like. I think we got dogs. We got dogs that we
it.
just know are going to show up.
Yes, I'm super excited for it. And I hope Coy just absolutely puts the world on notice for those who don't know already. And go get that All American, bro. Go get that All
Yep.
American. Go get that first team Big All 10 again. Go get you another 5 interceptions because you do that. And already you're sniffing Tyler Nubin's record. And I'm here for it.
Was
I think
he?
Tyler Nubin would be here
Oh,
for it too.
oh yeah. Was Coy was on the second team All American watch list, correct?
Yeah, I believe so for a couple different sources too. It wasn't just like because there's like 3 or 4
Yeah.
All-American teams that you can make, and he made it on the watch list for I think at least 2, maybe 3 of them for this year.
Okay. Okay. That's a good start. That's a great start.
Great start, especially as a true sophomore.
Crazy.
And like I said, if he can get 5 more interceptions this year, I know that's a big ask, right? Like 5 is a ton, but Tyler Nubin's record is 13. So if you leave this season with
Yo, no,
10, bro, what?
but
Like,
crazy. 13 picks is nuts.
yeah, yeah. He went 0 in his first year, and then the next 4 years it went 1, 3, 4, 5. So he just kept ticking up on them.
One more year.
Oh, just crazy. But Koy has the potential. I'm not gonna write him off. I think he could do
Oh
it,
yeah.
even though I know that man is like, I'm in here 3 years and I'm out of here. So
I mean, even if he adds one more every year, that's done. It's done.
yeah, it's a wrap. It's cooked. Like there we go. But I know some people have voiced maybe they would be worried if Coy had a big year, he would transfer out. But we brought it up on the last show too. I think the Gophers using him in crazy ways on offense, on special teams, letting him be a football player, which is what he wants to do through and through. I think that gives the Gophers a lot of advantage when it comes to keeping him home. He's got the fan support. By the way, he's been advertising on Twitter. If you want to buy one of his jerseys, the half and half jersey, anything like that, you can go check it out and cop it. Get him some NIL money.
Good
So go
plug.
do
Good
that.
plug.
Hit up his Twitter, big plug. But also like him being able to play all ways, I think that only plays to the Gophers' benefit in trying to keep him here, keep him home. And as long as they go the way Tristyn's going, you say 9-10 wins, like
10,
why would he want to leave? He's
10 and
right
2.
there in the conversation. So
Exactly. 10 and 2 make anybody want to stay. We'll be people knock down the doors to get back and get to Minnesota.
hey, that's when 3M and Target and all the Minneapolis corporations like, so why
Yeah.
haven't we entered this
Yeah.
NIL game yet? And how do we do it? Like, these guys are in the playoffs? Oh yeah. How do we do it?
Knobs?
What's the check? You want 1 mil, 3 mil, 5 mil? Let's make it happen.
Target logo somewhere? That'll work.
Yeah. I want you to put a Target logo right on the back of the pants. No.
Don't worry about it. Hey, whatever. If it's gonna get the NIL money there, nobody will be mad at it.
All right. Let's talk safeties in the Big Ten. Any names that stood out to you overall?
Well, names like specifically names: Xavier Nwankpa.
Okay.
Decent name for Iowa,
He's
and
with Iowa, right? Yeah.
yep, safety at Iowa. So unfortunately, he plays for Iowa. But honestly, not a lot of good names in the safety rooms. Like,
Yeah.
not a ton of them. They're all pretty basic names. But a couple of guys that I wrote down as far as skills go: Caleb Downs, obviously from Ohio State. D'Angelo Pons from Indiana. And then Dylan Thielman from Oregon. We kind of talked about Oregon's defense might be decent this year, but
Mm-hmm.
those are just what I wrote down as far as names.
I could be wrong. I think Pons is a corner,
Oh,
but the other two I'm with you 100% through and through. So,
I tried. I did my
hey,
best. I
hey,
did.
you put names out there and I appreciate
I'm
that.
not a research guy. I'm not here for the research.
No, I'm here for you. Like my top 10 for the safeties this year, Caleb Downs, number one. Look, I was tempted. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't want the homerism
You
coming
were
out.
gonna
I
put
didn't
him
want
over there.
people bashing me, but I was tempted.
I would
I'm
have
not going
defended
to
you.
lie.
I would have defended you. Caleb Downs. This is his first year at Ohio State. Didn't he transfer from Bama?
Last year was his first year. This
Oh
is
yeah,
his
never
second
mind,
year.
never mind, never
So
mind.
that's why I gave him the edge. I gave him the edge because you got the natty. I got to respect it. Like you got the job done. But he's seen as the best safety in the country. Uh, had 107 tackles as a freshman at Bama, 2 interceptions, 3 PBUs. Last year, he had 81 tackles, 6 PBUs, 2 interceptions for the national champions. So, look, I'll give it to you.
Yeah,
Coy
yeah, that's
Parrish,
the tackles.
Coy Parrish at number two, bro. Coy
Yep,
Parrish, you're
love
in
him.
there like swimwear. Look, I mentioned all his numbers, and he was a part-time player. It's starter time. It's starter season. He's about to go crazy. First team as a true freshman in the Big Ten alongside Caleb. He's going to get it done again. Both of those two, my Big Ten first team safeties. Number three, Dylan Thieneman, like you said, over at Oregon. Look, he was stuck. He was rotting. He was falling away and withering to nothing over at Purdue. And then he was like, let me get up out of here. I'm headed to Oregon. Great decision, young man. You got uni swag, you got actual NIL money, and you ain't got to go 1-11 in your schedule.
You had to leave
So
the basketball school. You just want to hoop. We need to win some football games.
he said, look, let me stop messing around with these basketball fans. Let me go over to Oregon where they care about football. Look, I want to tell you though, what he did at Purdue is absolutely filthy. He had 104 tackles one year, 106 tackles the other year, 6 interceptions as a freshman. Like the dude was balling at Purdue. I think his numbers are going to dip a little bit because they won't put everything on his back over at Oregon.
Scheming up every blitz. Hey, Dylan, you going again, dog?
But I got him at three. Number four, Rod Moore over at Michigan. He was hurt last year, didn't really play much, but he was a big player for them the past 2 years that where they were in the CFP, both of them 2 years. So I got him coming back in a big way. Zaki Wheatley with Penn State. What a name,
Yeah, that's
Zaki
a good name.
Wheatley.
That's a good
He was a
name.
stud for Penn State last year. First time in a big role, 95 tackles, 3 interceptions. I think he's going to be productive again this year. Number six, I've got Matthew Bailey of Illinois, who is huge for the Illini last year. 93 tackles, 5 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and an interception. I think he's going to be a do-it-all guy again. Number seven, Kerry Brown. Yeah, that's right. I got Minnesota with 2 top 10 guys on the safety season. Kerry made a huge impact last year, 63 tackles, 4 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. I expect him to grow in year two as a starter. Last year was year one as a starter, and he's going to keep balling out this year. And then after that, I had Nwangpa at 8 with Iowa because, look, Iowa just does
They do
all sorts
compete.
of defense. They
Mhm.
all sorts of defense, man. They got it all. So
Mhm.
I'll give it to them. And then the last two, I got three names. You can pick your poison. I got Deshaun Singleton at Nebraska, Preston Zachman at Wisconsin, and Kamari Ramsey at USC. If I'm gonna order it, I'm gonna put the Wisconsin guy off the list because I screw the Badgers.
Get them out
You
of
can put the other two at 9 and 10. But those are my top safeties for the season coming up. And the last thing we got to talk about here on today's show is the next opponent. This is our second to last opponent breakdown on the year, and that's with the Northwestern Wildcats. And look, it was hard for me to do this one. I'm not going to lie to you because the last time you and me talked shit about Northwestern,
I know.
we were haunted. Haunted. I'm talking you're up 31-10 in the fourth quarter, haunted,
Oh my
and
god.
you end up losing the game.
What a
So
horrible night. That ruined my whole weekend. That was the worst.
whole weekend. So I'm
Oh,
treading lightly here. There is no this is a chalk dub for
oh.
me. There is take care of business, please. I don't want to look like a fool.
Brother, we went through the same process when I was breaking down this game. I literally was like, no, you're not gonna say we're gonna win by 30. You're not gonna put a W on this one without speaking about what could happen here. This is what I got. This is what I got. Okay?
All right.
You know me, I'm a big schedule, I'm a big timing guy because these are just kids. Okay?
Yes.
This is our second road trip in a row. Okay? No, right? Okay? We go to Oregon. And then we go to Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
We might be in a close game with Oregon. I think we could be in a close game right there. That's a battle. That's a fight.
And that's a night game. That's a night game.
That's a big-time game.
Mm-hmm.
Playing in Northwestern is probably harder than playing in the shoe because it's like playing at a high school football field.
And I think they're playing at Wrigley. I think they're playing at Wrigley.
Okay, no, I like that more. I like that more. It is the Wrigley game. You are correct.
Yeah.
You're correct. I like that more, actually. That's good for us because playing at Northwestern, that's a dangerous place to play because my mom was like, it literally feels like a high school game here. There's nobody here right now. But, okay, so we have Northwestern, and then we have Wisconsin that week after. So that's a trap spot for us.
Trap game.
Yeah, that's the definition of a trap game because we are going to be thinking Wisconsin. Now, on the bright side, their schedule is kind of tough. They have USC, then they have Michigan, and then they play us, and they have Illinois the week after us. So they're going to get beat down a little bit. It's late in the season. If they're not having a good record.
But do they circle our game and say, this is where we can squeak out because we did it 2 years ago?
They could, but I don't think so. I don't think they will. I think it's going to be, they're going to be like, okay, get us to next season. Like this one's a wash. We're not making a bowl game even if we win out. I think that's where they'll be at, hopefully. But they do have some transfers going, and I'm sure you know all the transfer names. But I'm just saying, scheduling-wise, it doesn't necessarily favor us.
I'm not going to lie to you. I put some straight-up disrespect on Northwestern. I was like, I'll look up a couple players. I looked up one. One player. That was it. Yes, it was the quarterback. Beyond that, I was like, we ain't using this time. Like, we got to break down in Northwestern week. We can look at Northwestern then because
it's the only name I wrote down.
Your boy ain't got time for that. So, Preston Stone, quarterback, transferred from SMU. Coach Braun said at the Big Ten media days that they were prepping for a game against SMU at one point, and they saw his tape, and they're like, "Oh, this dude's so good," blah blah blah. Or maybe they were prepping for like a coach that left SMU and went somewhere else, and they're playing. Regardless, they watched a lot of Preston Stone. They're like, "Oh, this dude's so damn good," blah blah blah. So when he hit the transfer portal, they're like, "Oh, we're taking him." And I don't disagree. He is really good, especially in the 1 year he's actually fully played. He hasn't really played full seasons that much, whether it's injuries or losing the job overall. But in 2023, 3,197 passing yards, 28 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Those are good numbers. But he's been inaccurate as hell his whole career. These are his completion percentage numbers. First year, 42%. Next year, 58%. Next year, 59%. Next year, 58%. The man has never completed 60% of his passes, and the Gophers have been a really good defensive team year after year, no matter if they're changing coordinators. So look, there's going to be some opportunities for the Gophers to turn this guy over. I know he takes care of the football. Like I said, only 6 interceptions that 1 year. I think he's only had 1 interception in like a single interception in the other years he's played. But again, he didn't make it through the whole year. So he's super talented, but he doesn't strike fear into you, if you ask me.
I agree. I did look at his numbers, really good. And if these other transfers that they brought in spark some sort of life, I mean, there's always a chance, but it's just so hard. Like Northwestern feels like they're still in like a weird transition, state. Cause this coach's second year, correct? Because he had third year and he's taken over after a scandal. And I mean, you go to Northwestern to get brains. You don't necessarily go to win natties. I'm just saying. And so I think like it's
basketball
it's
school.
It's tough to transfer. Yes, I mean, yeah. I mean, if we were doing like Knowledge Bowl, we'd probably lose to these guys, but it's football.
Yeah, I'm with you. I kind of wrote down the running back room has decent guys like Cam Porter, Joseph Hyman. Both of them were the top two leading rushers for them last year. But again, they're not game changers. They're not guys that you're like, damn, he could break off 200 on us. Like, it's just not, they're just like steady eddies. They're not
Mhm.
guys who make you go, oh, like, we got to lock down for this. Wide receivers, they lost their top two guys. I don't care about the transfers. Nothing to write home about. Whatever. I think if Northwestern's going to win this game, it's going to be on the arm of their quarterback and their defense shutting down. So I was like, let me look at what their defense did last year because, like, their defense was all right the year before. I mean, the Gophers put up 31 and 3/4, so it wasn't great, but they held their own at times. Last year, not so much. 89th in the pass, 37th in the rush, 56th in the total, 81st in the scoring, 77th in turnovers, 74th in sacks. Like, they're in the back half of most of those conversations when it comes to across the country how their defense was stacking up. So I would put this as a win in my category. But again, the last time I confidently
Mhm.
did that, the Gophers embarrassed themselves and me by blowing a 31-10 lead in the fourth quarter and losing in overtime. I'm still scarred, so I think it's a win, but the Gophers need to make me feel better about this one.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. I want to be so confident, but it is a trap spot. But I think it changes things that we're playing at Wrigley because the guys are going to be excited about that. Like,
That's true.
you
That's
know, the
fair.
guys are going to be like, that's going to be kind of exciting. Although
It's still going to be empty or
playing,
more Gophers fans than
oh,
Northwestern fans.
absolutely, playing football on a baseball field is silly to me. I think I'm out on that. I think we should
Yeah.
stop doing it.
Hey, last time we did it, though, we won a game. I'm
We
just
did
saying.
win. We did win, but I heard it was just not
No,
easy to
field
see.
conditions were terrible,
You
and it
can't watch.
wasn't a good viewing. Yep.
Yeah, you can't watch that. I don't know. Why are we still doing that? Let's just stop doing that. Like, let's just play on football.
Money.
What's
Money. That's why we're doing
oh, you telling me
it.
there's money involved in college sports?
I hate to break it to you, but it's a new revelation. They were never paid before, so
Yes,
like,
yes, yes, yes. This is a
yeah,
new
yeah.
concept. New concept.
The NCAA never made money off of players' names or anything either. It was just like a very clean operation, very smooth, very smooth.
Good to know. Good to know.
All right. So speaking of the scarring, speaking of the uneasiness, we're gonna close with this question, and hopefully it's a little negative to close on, but I digress. If the Gophers drop a game that they're not supposed to this year, which they are known to do, unfortunately, who are you afraid that it is going to be against on this season? Now, I do have the schedule up if you need me to say kind of what that is.
Yeah, I do need to.
So, game one, we've got Buffalo. Game two, we've got Northwestern State. Game three, we are on the road at Cal at night. Then we have a bye week. Then we go to home versus Rutgers. Then we go on the road versus Ohio State. Then we are home versus Purdue, home versus Nebraska, on the road at Iowa, home versus Michigan State. Then a bye week, then on the road at Oregon, on the road at Northwestern, and then close at home versus Wisconsin.
Just looking at that, I think we talked about Purdue is probably going to be decent this year, so that necessarily is probably isn't going to be like a for sure. If we drop one, I really think it's going to be like one of those first three games. They're all kind of the same in my book.
It will not be the second game. I promise you.
I
I will put my
hope.
entire life value savings, everything that it will not be Northwestern State.
I hope. I
Bruh,
hope.
they were 0-12 in the FCS, not the
Do I need to say
FBS.
Bowling Green? Bowling
Bowling
Green.
Green was at least an FBS
Yeah, that's
team.
true. That's
At
true.
least they
That's
were in the
true. Okay.
G5. You're talking about Max Brosmer's team in New Hampshire went like 9-4 in the FCS. This
Okay.
is a team that went 0-12
This is a
in
high
the
school. This is a high school
FCS.
football team. This is a high
High
school
school,
football.
bro.
Okay.
Some high schools in Texas might whoop down on this team. I'm not even lying. Like, come on now. That's the only one. I'll put 99.99999%. That's a dub. Like, give it to me.
Then I mean, looking at it, it's got to be Cal. Cal could kind of kill you. I'm gonna go Rutgers though. I think Rutgers. If we drop that one, at that point, I would hope that we're 3-0. Going into Ohio State 3-1 feels a lot sadder than going 4-0. because that 3-1 going into Ohio State is you've already written that into a 3-2 essentially. So
Yeah, they haven't announced where or what time. Well, when I say where, I mean what network. They haven't announced what network or what time the Ohio State game is on, and I think that's solely because they looked at the schedule and were like, "Yo, the Gophers could be 4-0, so let's hold off on putting that one
it
there."
might be nighttime because that's at Ohio State, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that could be it. We might get a primetime slot there to upset Ohio State, going 11-1, the Gophers. So we're gonna drop one.
So
I think
what's
we're
the
gonna drop.
one? Because you said we were going to upset Oregon too. So what's the one?
Well, I mean
Are
that's
you talking
easy.
yourself into 12-0?
No, we did I just do that? I think we might have.
Don't say we. There is no we in
Well, I
this
mean, if we beat
conversation.
Ohio State, if we beat Ohio State, we have the ability to beat Oregon. So that's 12 and
There's no
0.
we in this conversation. I am not pulling a 12-0. I don't care if PJ said be delusional. I don't care if the entire team is running with that mantra. I'm not going 12-0. I'm sorry.
If we
I've had too much heartbreak in my lifetime to expect a 12-0 in any sense.
to me after Northwestern State, because if we beat them down by 30, I'll still talk myself to 12.
By 30, bro,
No,
that game
nobody can
might be
stop
a
the team.
63-0 game. That game is going to be like when we played the Leathernecks back
Yes,
in Western Illinois.
yes.
63, I think that was 63-10, so they did score in that game. But regardless,
I'm gonna look.
63 by the Gophers
I
is
promise
something.
you, I'm gonna look at that score and be like, our backups were beating their ass. Our backups were smoking them. Like this team is unstoppable.
Hey, no, the game that worries me the most, you already mentioned it. We talked about it before. It's Purdue. It's Purdue. It's right smack dab in the middle. You're coming off of Ohio State, which I anticipate is probably a loss. So you don't want to drop two in a row, especially because then your next two games are what I think you have to walk away with, one with a win with Nebraska and Iowa. So if you're adding two losses before you go into that back to back of Nebraska and Iowa, things could get really ugly. Even if you start 4-0, if you lose the Purdue game, there's a chance you could go 4-4, and that would just be horrific to start off on such a high and then have such a humbling experience. And then you're talking about you have to beat Michigan State in your last two games to hopefully come to a 7-win season. So I think Purdue is critical. You got to win that one, and then hopefully coming back home again. It's a homecoming game. We know how we feel about homecoming games. So Purdue being a homecoming game, you got to get it. And then hopefully you can split one of the Nebraska Iowa games. And then all of a sudden you're already bowl eligible if you do that. You win Purdue, that gives you 5. And then you split one of the Nebraska Iowas, you're at 6. And you're going to try and get to 10 or so with the rest of the game.
Yeah, Purdue did stick out to me right away. I kind of took it back only because I don't think it's a lock. It's not as much as a lock as I would like it to be, so it won't be as necessary. It'll really that will affect the rest of the season. Like what you're saying is absolutely true. I just didn't think it was, like I'm very sure we're going to beat Cal. I'm very sure about that. So that would be devastating if somehow we drop that game. Like that would crush me.
Yeah, I feel like the games that I've kind of written as dubs are Buffalo, Northwestern State, Cal, Purdue, even though we've admitted it could be challenging. I do have it as like a 75% for the Gophers. Maybe that's too
I've just talked
confident.
so much shit about Purdue this year that I'm concerned
You're
that
ready to be
I'm
hurt.
yeah.
You're ready to be hurt.
Yeah, I've done too much. I've done too much. This is how I live my life. I'm way up here and then I'm just devastated when things don't work out
Right.
my way.
Well, and so those first three games, Purdue, those are the four that I'm like, yeah, I feel really good that those are dubs. Michigan State and Northwestern, I feel really good.
Yep.
So again, that's what, 6 games right there. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel really good about Wisconsin. Like I know you can't take any rivalry games with comfort because they could be 0-11 and they could play absolutely out of their minds in the Axe game. Like that's just what a rivalry is. But I do feel more confident this year than I have in the past 5 years about Wisconsin. So, I mean, for me, I see 7 wins on the schedule just talking that way.
Well, you already know what I'm 10-2. 10-2 or bust for Tristyn. As of right now. It could be changed. It could change. I reserve the
Well,
right to change my mind halfway through the season, but as of right now, 10-2 or bust.
Well, next week we're going to talk about the Wisconsin matchup, and then we're going to do one of two things. I don't know which one we're going to do yet. Actually, yes, I do. We're going to talk about Wisconsin, and then we're going to do some live predictions with you. So this is one I highly recommend you go and find us over on YouTube, hit subscribe, because we're going to pull up the schedule live on the screen as well, and we're going to walk through not only the Gophers but the entire Big Ten, and we're going to see how we actually have this Big Ten shaking out and what our predictions would be for the season. I might be able to talk Tristyn out of 10-2 just for that example, but he'll be back to 10-2 if I somehow pull that miracle. But regardless, that's going to be a fun one. And then we are going to do live, or not live, but we're going to do our season predictions. We're going to call our shot. We're going to talk about our offensive MVP, defensive MVP, freshman of the year, all that stuff. We're going to have some fun with it. I would love for y'all to jump in the comments as well and tell us who you have, who we're not talking about enough, and all of that. And then it's season time, folks. Then it's time to get ready for week 1 versus Buffalo, and we're going to get after it. So be sure to hit subscribe over on YouTube. If you haven't yet, we want you to do that. Tell a friend about the show. But on top of that, we're going to get creative during the season. It's not just going to be our prediction shows like we did for Locked On last year. We're going to have fun with other segments within that show as well, since we've got some time on these shows. So definitely hit subscribe. We're going to have some fun with it, and we'll see you next time. Row the boat, Scotty Mago Gophers, as always. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button.